What could Jesus have said that was so shocking, so dangerous, that it made people want to kill him? This isn't just a story about faith. It's a story about a statement so controversial, it threatened to upend the entire social order. Imagine standing in the heart of ancient Jerusalem, surrounded by a crowd of religious leaders, Roman officials, and everyday people. The air is thick with tension, and then Jesus speaks. His words cut through the noise like a knife, leaving everyone stunned. Some are inspired, but others? They're furious. So furious, in fact, that they pick up stones to silence him permanently. What could he have said to provoke such a reaction? Was it a call to revolution? A challenge to the religious elite? Or something even deeper? Something that struck at the very core of human power and pride? This moment isn't just a footnote in the Bible. It's a turning point, a revelation of a side of Jesus that's often overlooked. Stay with me, because this is one secret the Bible doesn't want you to overlook. By the end of this video, you'll see Jesus and his message in a whole new light. We all know Jesus as a teacher of love, peace, and forgiveness. His parables about the Good Samaritan and the prodigal son have inspired millions. But there's one moment in the Gospels where his words were so radical, they sparked outrage. In fact, this single statement was so explosive, it nearly got him killed, long before the crucifixion. This moment isn't as widely discussed as the Sermon on the Mount or the Last Supper, but it's just as significant. It's a moment that reveals Jesus not just as a spiritual leader, but as a revolutionary. He wasn't afraid to confront the powerful, to challenge the status quo, and to speak truth in the face of danger. So what did he say? And why did it shake the religious and political powers of his time to their core? To understand this, we need to dive into the Gospels, into a moment that's often glossed over but holds the key to understanding the true radicalism of Jesus' message. This isn't just a story about faith, it's a story about courage, defiance, and the cost of speaking truth to power. Here's the twist. This statement wasn't just controversial, it was revolutionary. It challenged the very foundations of power, wealth, and tradition. But what's even more fascinating is that this moment is often overlooked in modern retellings. Why? Because it forces us to confront a side of Jesus that's far more radical than we've been led to believe. Imagine this: Jesus standing in the temple or synagogue, surrounded by people who have spent their lives upholding strict religious laws. These are the gatekeepers of faith, the ones who control access to God in the minds of the people. And then Jesus says something so bold, so earth-shattering, that it threatens to dismantle their authority. It's not just a spiritual statement, it's a direct challenge to their power. Could this be the reason his message was so dangerous? Could this be why the religious leaders plotted against him? Why they sought to silence him at all costs? This moment isn't just about theology, it's about power dynamics, about who gets to define truth and who gets to control the narrative. And Jesus? He wasn't playing by their rules. The statement comes from John 8, verse 58. Jesus is in a heated debate with the religious leaders, and they're questioning his authority. They ask him, "Who do you think you are?" And Jesus responds with these earth-shattering words, "Before Abraham was, I am." Now, if you're not familiar with the significance of this phrase, let me break it down. In the Hebrew Bible, I am is the name God gives to Moses at the burning bush. It's the divine name, the most sacred title for God. By saying, "Before Abraham was, I am," Jesus isn't just claiming to be a prophet or a teacher. He's claiming to be God himself. This wasn't just a spiritual revelation. It was a direct challenge to the religious authorities. They understood exactly what he was saying, and it infuriated them. In their eyes, Jesus was committing blasphemy, a crime punishable by death. The Gospel of John tells us that immediately after this statement, the crowd picked up stones to kill him. But why was this claim so dangerous? And why did it provoke such a violent reaction? To understand why this statement was so explosive, we need to look at the context. At the time, Israel was under Roman occupation, and the religious leaders held significant power over the people. They were the intermediaries between God and the masses, and their authority was built on strict adherence to the law. For Jesus to claim divinity wasn't just a theological issue, it was a direct threat to their power structure. The name, I am, was sacred, reserved only for Yahweh, the God of Israel. By using it, Jesus was essentially saying, I am equal to God. This wasn't just a spiritual claim, it was a political one. If Jesus was God, then the religious leaders' authority was illegitimate. Their control over the people, their interpretation of the law, even their collaboration with the Romans, all of it was called into question. But it wasn't just the religious leaders who felt threatened. The Romans, too, were wary of anyone who claimed divine authority. In their eyes, Jesus was a potential revolutionary, someone who could incite rebellion. This statement wasn't just about faith, it was about liberation, equality, and challenging the status quo. No wonder they wanted him silenced. But here's the thing. This statement isn't just ancient history. It's a message that still resonates today. In a world where power and inequality still dominate, Jesus' words remind us that true change often comes from challenging the systems that oppress us. His claim to divinity wasn't just about theology, it was about liberation. It was a declaration that no human authority, no religious institution, no political power could claim ultimate control over our lives. Think about it. How often do we see people in positions of power using religion, politics, or wealth to control others? How often do we see systems designed to keep people in their place? Jesus' message was a radical call to freedom, a reminder that true authority comes from something, or someone, greater than any human institution. This is why his message remains so controversial even now. It challenges us to question the status quo, to stand up for justice, and to recognize the inherent dignity of every person. In a world that often feels divided and oppressive, Jesus' words are a beacon of hope, a reminder that true power lies not in domination, but in love, humility, and truth. So what do you think? Was Jesus' statement a spiritual revelation, a political challenge, or both? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think his claim to divinity was meant to inspire faith, to provoke change, or both? And how do you see this message playing out in our world today? If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the Bible's most mysterious and controversial moments. This is just the beginning. There are so many more stories to uncover, so many more secrets to explore. The Bible is a treasure trove of wisdom, history, and mystery, and I'm here to help you unpack it all.